Want the biggest and baddest phone on the planet? Chances are these two devices will be at the top of your wish list. The Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Both fit the bill perfectly. They are big, they have huge batteries. They have excellent cameras, but how are they different? The iPhone 14 Pro Max offers a new and faster A16 processor, has incredible battery life, and a host of new features including a never-before-seen dynamic island screen cutout, plus a few potentially life-saving features like SOS via satellite and crash detection. Design and display quality. Do you want a wider phone with an S Pen or a narrower one with rounded corners? Both the iPhone 14 Pro Max and Galaxy S22 Ultra are premium phones through and through. They are solidly put together, but also different. The Galaxy has a wider aspect ratio than your average phone and sharp corners, which look distinct, but make it a bit less comfortable in a pocket. The iPhone is similarly large, but corners are rounded. Both are a glass and metal sandwich, with an aluminum frame on the Galaxy, while the middle of the iPhone is made out of shiny stainless steel. You should also not be surprised by what's in the box, or rather what is not in the box. There's no charger on either one. They only ship with charging cable, but not the charging brick that you'd have to buy separately. In terms of screen tech, the iPhone actually might have an advantage as it uses the latest M12 generation OLED panel, while the S22 Ultra has the previous M11 generation. The difference should not be huge, though, and both get super bright and have gorgeous colors. Performance and software. Apple Silicon shapes up to remain the fastest in the industry. Under the hood, the iPhone 14 Pro Max features the Apple A16 Bionic chip built on a new and more advanced Fortnite manufacturing process, while the Galaxy is based on a Qualcomm-made Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor. Camera. The iPhone brings a bigger camera sensor, but has no answer for the 10x zoom on the Galaxy. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is the first one in years expected to get a higher resolution sensor for the main camera, and that is very exciting. Apple uses a 48 megapixel sensor for the main camera, a change from the current 12 MP sensor. On the other hand, the Samsung has been using an even higher res 108 megapixel sensor for the main camera for a few years now. Main camera. The first thing to note about the main cameras on these two phones is that the one on the Galaxy is ever so slightly wider, with a 23 field of view compared to 24 on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Of course, this is not an advantage of either one, just the way the lenses are, but where we do see advantages and disadvantages is in the processing. The iPhone in particular burns out the highlights. Notice the building on the left and crushes the details a bit too much. Notice the shrub on the right, while the Galaxy handles both the highlights and the shadows arguably better with a higher dynamic range. But on the other hand, detail on the iPhone is much cleaner, so to each one their own. Ultra wide. Another trend that carries over from the main camera is just the warmer tonality that the Galaxy often picks for photos, while the iPhone is a bit more realistic in our view. The tiles on this shot are closer to the color from the iPhone photo rather than the Galaxy. We again see the same troubles with dynamic range on the iPhone, though, while the Galaxy has far less of that. Zoom. Neither the iPhone nor the Galaxy have a 2x zoom lens, but with some clever processing, the iPhone is able to get a ton of detail out of the main camera. So much so that it calls this new 2x mode optical gray. And we can only agree with Apple on this, as clearly the more detailed and better looking shot. Portrait mode. With autofocusing on the front camera, the iPhone is able to deliver a noticeable improvement in selfies with cleaner detail, and we actually think it surpasses the Galaxy this year. What do you think? On the video front, the Galaxy has had support for 8K video for several years now, while the iPhone sticks with 4K recording. Apple instead focuses on things like cinematic mode that now works in 4K, and can now record in 24th or 30th. Samsung was again first to the game here, but latecomer Apple actually has this feature more refined and more useful. The iPhone also gains new action mode gimbal-like stabilization mode, and expect to see a comparison with Samsung's Ultra Steady option soon. Audio quality and haptics. The Galaxy S22 Ultra has decidedly average-sounding loudspeakers, and that is one area where Samsung definitely has a lot of room for improvement. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is in a totally different league when it comes to loudspeaker quality, boomy, with much richer lower frequencies. It eclipses the speakers on the Galaxy in every way possible. Battery life and charging. Both have big batteries, but only one has the longer battery life. With a massive 5,000 mAh battery inside, you would expect the Galaxy S22 Ultra to easily outlast iPhone counterparts that don't even reach 4,400 mAh capacity. The iPhone 14 Pro Max features a 4,323 mAh battery, not the largest indeed. However, battery size might not be the only decisive factor here. Overview. So let's summarize. The iPhone has the following advantages: a new and faster chip, cool new moves with the dynamic island, potentially life-saving satellite connectivity, as well as longer software support and a longer battery life. The Galaxy, on the other hand, just gives you its fair share of extra features like an S Pen, faster charging, long-range telephoto camera, and all of that on top of its solid basics. Which one should you go for? Well, our advice is to look what you value most in a phone. Is it having a free and open platform? Go for the Galaxy. Is it just sheer performance and battery life in a slightly less giant phone? Get the iPhone. So which one would you choose? We are going to end this video right away. If you have any query or information to share, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.